This week we stay with offshore racing and travel to the sunny islands of the Bahamas. Situated right on the northern edges of the Caribbean, the Bahamas provides one of the most exotic and luxurious of venues for an offshore race anywhere in the world. And this year it hosts the final round of the Superboat International Championship once again, the largest offshore boats racing anywhere in the world, with huge supercharged engines bringing them to speeds in excess of 140 miles per hour. The teams have had a tough and challenging season. The first round of the championship took place at Mar del Plata in Argentina. The race itself started by the country's head of state, President Menem. But the teams come here direct from the last round of the championship in New York. The boats shipped from Fort Lauderdale altogether and arriving here in Nassau in time for a Thursday practice session. Some 30 teams entered here for what will be a spectacular race, and this is the third year that Superboat has come here to the Bahamas on a course that is set around Paradise Island. It's a unique course passing underneath the huge Paradise Island bridge. Race start begins at Potter's Key, the boats howling down the Narrows and then into Lighthouse Turn, taking a right at Breeze's Bend in the shallow corals, and then along Atlantis Strait into the tight right-hander, through the Narrows past the airfield, then a long sweeping right-hander where the superboats themselves line themselves up to come down this strait and underneath the infamous Paradise Island Bridge. The bridge joining Paradise Island, where the Atlantis Resort is based, and they play host to all of the teams this week as race headquarters. Big Thunder Marine, Bob Morgan and James Lee down from Lake of the Ozarks, and Big Thunder is a 46-foot Douglas skater. The engines in the back, 500 cubic inch each, developing over 1,000 horsepower. They're supercharged, of course. The preparation on these boats is at 110% level. Nothing left to chance, but the spread of teams here is really quite breathtaking. From the small catamarans with their outboard-driven, mercury-powered engines, up to the huge supercharged superboats. Blistering heat, very humid conditions here for the race, and everybody preparing for what they know is going to be a great race for the final round of this Superboat Championship. Surprisingly, the defending champions, Italian Fabio Buzzi and his Argentinian teammate Daniel Scioli, have dropped out of the championship and are not here in the Bahamas. Lake X has provided some excellent testing opportunities, and this is a very important boat, the latest Cougar Thunderboat, the first of its type to be racing anywhere in the world. It's driven by Alan Wardle and is heavily supported by the local people because it's the Bahamian entry. M4 is a 40-foot skater driven by Forrest Barber and throttled by John Tomlinson, who's rushed straight here from Beirut and the Lebanese Class 1 race to compete in this very, very fast machine.
The team's been doing good. It's a brand new team this year. They're moving up to open class next year with another brand new boat, and it's a real good team.
Give me some background on the boat and the make and the type and the engines.
Okay. It's a 40-foot skater built up at Douglas Marine in Michigan. The engine's a Sterling Performance out of Milford, Michigan. 510 cubic inch, single carburetor, 9.5 to 1 compression, about probably 875 horsepower apiece.
Your team's choice of engines or recommended by Skater?
Our team's choice.
Why?
We were dominant with it last year. I won the Open Class Championship last year in zero defect with the Sterling motors. Right now, they seem to be the engine package to have. They're reliable, they make plenty of power, and Mike's the go-to guy right now. We should have a real close race. They're all going to be tough. We've got some good boats and some good teams here.
John Tomlinson then going out to test in Restore, you can just see in the background. And talking of good teams, looking down in the engine bay here, Jerry Gilbreth and Matt Alcone in Alcone Motorsport. These Sterling engines developing each some 1,500 horsepower. Huge power reserves in this 46-foot skater that currently heads the Superboat Championship. But they've come in from testing and they've got some problems. Mechanics and crew chief looking down into the engine bay. Driver and throttle man concerned about the exact and precise control required as the boat heads down into the narrows and underneath the bridge. Testing, all important, on a course that provides choppy sea conditions and very calm waters where the boats run down underneath that bridge. Art and Mike Gerard run Sloppy Joes. Their choice of power is Mercruiser engines, and the choice of them is a very personal business, and we spoke to Mike about their choice.
Everyone's got different combinations they use. Our motors are supercharged motors, and had very good luck with them this year, and we're still running them now. It's got two 1,000 horsepower Mercruiser motors in it. It's a 93, and we do all the work on it ourselves.
Down by the right-hand turn at the far end of the island there looks as if there's some shallow coral down there.
It's a little bumpy right there. It's sort of like hitting a wall, but we anticipate it, and we put our drives in and slow down a little, and just it's constantly changing depending on what the tide going in, out, whatever have you, but we just very careful around that turn. But that's not a problem like the bridge is. I think the bridge is our biggest problem. Yeah.
Art Gerard then worried about the bridge, but we spoke to Alan Wardle next about the Bahamian entry. Alan, this is a special day for you, I know, obviously representing the Bahamas, and particularly with a special boat here. Tell me about how you came to choose this boat.
I got in contact with Errol Lanier, and he's going to be dealing the Cougar powerboats here in America, and he got it together just in time for the race, so we're real proud to fly the flag over here.
How's the testing gone?
Very well. We got the upper 70s. It's real consistent. He said he could run it like that all day, so I think we're doing pretty good.
What made you select this particular boat with the configuration that it's got? Because it's a very new design.
It's brand new, and it was available. Those were the first and most important criteria to do this.
You've tested, obviously, on the course. How do you feel about today?
Very good. We got home field advantage. It's my backyard. I know it real well, so I don't think we'll have any problems following the course.
And if there is any competition, who's it going to come from?
It'll be the Pitman Photo. They always finish. They never break down.
There's a driver talking about this boat. Alan Wardle worried about what Pitman Photo will be up to, and particularly with their level of competition. The boats gathered here, the teams preparing, the mechanics checking everything, ready for this last race. Rick Felson, a regular competitor in Superboat, he was here last year. This year he's got a new driver, Russ Houston, and they race a 32-foot skater.
We love this course. It's exciting. You know, it's a thrill going under that Paradise Island Bridge and going by Hurricane Hole Marina at 100+ miles an hour. Anytime you're in a contained area in an offshore powerboat, obviously the sensation of speed is so great. I scream. When I come down there, he makes his commitment on the line. I trim the motors up, and I reach 118 miles an hour. And I keep telling him at every meeting, do not let people come out of Hurricane Hole. And if Bernie Little in that Budweiser boat is hanging out the side drinking a beer, I can grab it. That's how close I am, because I take the extreme right, which is straight on the lower stanchion, which is only maybe 13 feet wide, and my boat's 8 feet wide.
Experienced drivers never underestimate the opposition, and that includes Matt Alcone.
I think there's a lot of really fast boats here today, and it could, and for this weekend, it'll be very competitive, and it could come from both ends. On the upper hand, you have a Big Thunder with huge superboat motors in it. You have Sloppy Joes, which is a very experienced and fast team. And then don't forget this year the way the modified boats are configured, they're fast, and they're right up there with us too. So it's going to be a very fast race.
Anna Dalva from Los Angeles drives the massive 40-foot monohull Cigarette Lady. So what's it like to have 2,000 horsepower at your fingertips?
The adrenaline rush that you get and the high that you get from the feeling you get inside from racing this boat is like no other. No other sport, and I'm a skier, and I surf, and I do all the sports. But this is the one that you go to, they say the zone. You go to the zone in this boat. It's the 1993 world champion boat. Key West took the world champion, and it broke a record in 1991. It was the only boat to win 3 different classes.
Anna Dalva from Los Angeles in the USA, one of the few ladies racing in this sport, and you can see the size of that massive monohull. with the catamarans lining up behind it as the teams prepare for the start of this Superboat Championship race here in the Bahamas. Paradise Island in the background. We're looking out onto the course from Potter's Key, which forms part of the side of the course where the boats come down towards that famous bridge. The rest of the teams craning in their machinery then prior to the start of this race. That's Rage, a 40-foot skater running in the open class. That's the class just under Superboat. You join us just in time for the start of the race here in the Bahamas. Superboats, the biggest class of offshore racing anywhere in the world. Boats up to 43 and 44 feet in length with enormous supercharged engines and power approaching 3,000 horsepower in some of the larger boats. The teams gathering at the northern end of the course in preparation for the start boat run, which brings them in 3 waves down underneath Paradise Island Bridge. Hurricane Hole there, you can see on the left-hand side the famous marina, the large private motor yachts moored up just outside with a spectacular view. It will be when the boats come down through that strait. The crowd's gathering even down on the edge of the pits, the teams waiting anxiously to see what happens at the start, and everybody prepared for a spectacular race here in the Bahamas. Up go the helicopters for safety and rescue. There's the famous Bernie Little in his tan-coloured shorts, the man who owns and runs Miss Budweiser, the unlimited hydroplane, a supporter of powerboat racing for many, many years. The team's now preparing as they come down towards us. The start boats have released all 3 waves, and Superboat comes down towards us first. Alcone on the right of your picture, up now towards 135, 140 miles per hour as Alcone Motorsports heads the charge at the beginning of lap 1 and crosses the start line with Sloppy Joe's very, very close behind, and then I think it was Restore in 3rd place. The boat's crashing through the sea, chasing hard. You can see Sloppy Joe's there just in 2nd place. Matt Alcone then with an excellent start here for this Superboat race in the Bahamas. The Atlantis Beach Hotel on your right-hand side. Don't forget, Sloppy Joe's a supercharged boat. The rest of the slower classes heading away underneath the bridge, and the crowd straining over the barriers there. This is an enormously popular event because, don't forget, the Bahamas has been associated with powerboat racing for many, many years, and well before this superboat race first was ever conceived to race around the island. Formula One racing, or Formula Grand Prix as it was known then, back in 1982, the first race took place on Arawak Key, where the cruise boats are now based. And then, of course, the infamous Miami-Nassau endurance race, one of the great endurance races, took place for many years out to the Bahamas and back again. And I can see a retirement already. Big Thunder Marine, one of the major superboats, has pulled off the course. Well, I don't know what's happened there because the boat was superbly prepared and the times in qualifying and testing were excellent. So Big Thunder Marine pulling off the course as Matt Alcone comes back down towards us after that long swing round by the airfield, and you can see Sloppy Joe's not very far behind, and it looks to me like Sloppy Joe's has got a big challenge going on from Restore. So John Tomlinson obviously doing an excellent job there, but look at the power and the speed of Matt Alcone. The skater high, the tunnel huge, the breeze, in fact the wind I would say from the side, blowing from the right hand side of your picture, blowing the rooster out across to the left hand side, and I think Matt Alcone having a certain amount of fun controlling that boat. You can see the nose twitching from left to right as they line it up to come down below us underneath the stanchions of the bridge in front of the crowd. Matt Alcone then at the end of lap 1. The scream of those supercharged engines as the boat heads out underneath, and there's a fire there. There's a boat on fire out on the course. Big plumes of black smoke signal disaster for one of the teams. Cougar goes underneath us. That's Riveted, one of the older Cougars, but a highly competitive boat's taken the championship in the past. And some of the smaller classes, there's Rick Felson. standing well in second place at the moment in his class. There are 8 classes running here today, and the beautiful turquoise and deep blue seas here on this Paradise Island course for the Superboat International race here in the Bahamas. This is a very tricky section with the coral reef on the right-hand side, protecting the southern end of Paradise Island. You can see the lighthouse there, which acts as one of the major marker points for the boats as they head down with the island on their right. Felson then charging along here, those 3 Mercury outboards giving him some 7.2 litres of power. A very experienced competitor. Felson, the throttle man, Russ Houston, his driver, who's just moved into the seat, and of course he is running in the Pro 1 class. 8 classes, Superboat, the unlimited class right at the top. That's Pitman Photo, you can see away on your left, having a great fight here. Monohull racing, very popular on this side of the Atlantic. The big V8s, so readily available in the United States, providing a lot of the power plants, and if V8 isn't enough, then V12 does just fine, thanks, as Hog's Breath comes through in second place, looking very enthusiastic. Second place in their class, that is, but leader of the race overall, leader of the unlimited class, is this boat, Alcone Motorsport, so high-performing all season long. Jerry Gilbreth at the throttles, Matt Alcone driving. And the sound of those supercharged engines, just unbelievable. This is Sloppy Joe's. Mike and Art Gerard fighting along there. You can see their distinctive helmet design with the feathers over the top. They blew this boat over backwards earlier on at the opening round of the championship in Argentina, and Art was very lucky to get out alive, but he did. The rescue team's in extremely quickly. Alcone, and what a fantastic sight. Sloppy Joe's in second place, Restore in third. A great race then for John Tomlinson. Don't forget he's flown in straight from Beirut in the Lebanon here to drive this boat, and down towards us comes Riveted, an older style Cougar. You can really see the difference in the way in which catamaran design has changed. Safety canopies fitted to this boat, but the aluminium hull, very much the era of some 10 years ago of boat design. Now it's all high-tech carbon fiber. Alan Wardle delighted with his position. This Cougar Thunderboat, the first of its type to compete. And once more down towards the shoreline section and the grandstands comes Restore, the helicopter clattering overhead. Rescue ever present in this very competitive high-speed motorsport. Don't forget the boats are approaching 150 miles an hour when they're going at full speed. Restore then having an excellent run. John Tomlinson with Forrest Barber. Through goes Anna Dalva now, coming up just behind there. Cigarette Lady in V3. The monohulls running separately in class to the catamarans, and she's in first place in her class, just ahead of the JH Electric lip ship, Jack Herrick, and he's loving every moment of this race. So a very enthusiastic competitor there. Great racing here in the Bahamas as we head towards the conclusion of this superboat race. Matt Alcone right in the right-hand side of your picture there, the race leader in the unlimited superboat class, as he heads down towards the checkered flag. The nose of the boat twitching around. Are they still having handling problems? They had air in the hydraulics during testing. The boat coming down towards us. The checkered flag is out as Matt Alcone and Jerry Gilbreth scream across the line to take this, the Bahamas Atlantis Superboat Challenge. And a spectacular victory for them. The crowd, I think a young man there who'd been hoping Sloppy Joe's was going to win, but Sloppy Joe's in second place. And the rest of the boats coming in now. There's Rick Felson and Russ Houston. They've done well, they've won their class as they motor up the side section of the course and back round into the pits. There's Matt Alcone, very happy man, championship title under his belt. Jerry Gilbreth, smiles all over his face. A safe race, nobody injured. Sadly, one boat destroyed by fire, that was Kamikaze, but the early reports of the rescue crew getting in there quickly held out, and they got the team off very quickly before there was any risk to life or any injury. Second place, says Art Gerard. That'll do very nicely for me. Art and Mike running extremely well in Sloppy Joe's. Annie Dalva coming up next. The Los Angeles-based Cigarette Hull. But we talk to the race leader, Matt Alcone. What a day and what a race.
The boat just ran absolutely perfect. We struggled a couple of times with this boat at the beginning of the year, but now it looks like we've got all the gremlins out of it, and it's just fabulous.
Sloppy Joe's put a little bit of pressure on you, but you seem to just keep that cushion.
Yeah, after the first lap, we saw they were about 20 seconds behind us, and we wanted to keep them there. And we kept them there for the first 3-4 laps, and then after that, we were able to back down a bit.
You see what happened with the fire?
Yeah, we saw that, you know, and anything that you're coming up on at 125 miles an hour kind of confuses you, but we saw something was going on, so we swung wide for a lap, and then by the time we came back around, they had it under control. The safety committee did a great job.
Well, the crowd have come flooding in down on the quayside to see the end of race publicity. The photographers and journalists packed around the shoreline, and the crowd's packed into Potter's Quay. Forrest Barber down with the Restore boat, a very happy man because he's won his class this season.
The pressure was on. We've had a good season. It's been very competitive, and a couple of the boats in our class were extremely fast. So we had to work hard to stay in front of them. We had a good race. It was safe. We took it easy when we finally could. We got out in front. Johnny Thomas filled in for my regular throttle man, Charlie Hames, this time, and I'd like to thank Charlie for what he's done for us this year and help us in getting a national championship. A beautiful venue. The people have been very friendly. It's been a lot of fun, and we're happy to be here for my first time in Bahamas, and we'll be back.
Well, that seems to be the comment from everybody here. We'll be back. John Carmodell, president of Superboat International, announcing a return to the Bahamas next year as part of an ever-expanding Superboat Championship, which will see the teams racing well outside of America next year. Matt Alcone then confirmed as the winner with Sloppy Joe's in second place. In Super V, JH Electric Supership just beat Anna Dalva, Cigarette Lady, into second place. But Matt Alcone's your new Superboat champion. We'll see you next week.